Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. All right, my guest this segment is Russ Rausch, founder of Vision Pursue. Russ, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Give us some background on you, your company, what you do, and then I have a list of questions for you.
Yeah, great. So my background is really in the finance, the trading, and money management industry in Chicago and New York. I worked for a large technology firm, or a startup technology firm that grew to be a larger one in trading technologies. And then I worked for a hedge fund, Emil Van Essen, as a chief operating officer for 5 years before getting into this mental training and starting Vision Pursue about 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago.
All right. Tell me what Vision Pursue does for people.
Well, it's mental training, and the way I like to talk about it is the way people experience the world. And one of the ways we measure our success is we go in with a group of people, leaders or employees, any groups of people, and we ask how they're experiencing a typical workday. So from the time they get up in the morning till the time they go to bed at night, how would they break that experience down into these 4 categories? How much is stressful and annoying? How much is monotonous? Third category, how much are they doing escape activities? That'd be TV, drinking, social media, internet use. And the fourth category is I feel good without doing escape activities. And the rest of the mindset test is you have to read things 2 or 3 times. Do you have trouble listening when people are talking? In other words, focus. When you go home to be with whoever it is you love, can you be present? How resilient are you when things go wrong? You're replaying the stuff over and over again. And then we talk a lot about procrastinating, waiting till the last minute, et cetera. So we could go on, but that's what I would call most people don't do too well on that test, by the way, and neither did I in my professional career. Struggle with the stress and anxiety, monotony, couldn't focus, couldn't sleep, all those sort of things. And when you look at what's the solution to that, it's the way your brain is automatically experiencing the world based on the emotions it decides to give you, the emotional patterns you get, which you're not picking, it's picking, and the thought patterns that you have. So what we do is we go in and try to change those thought patterns and emotional patterns that come out of the limbic system to change those problems that we talked about earlier.
All right. Give me a walkthrough on the process.
The process looks like in-person training, which usually starts out about a half day where we're talking about, hey, what's going on with your brain? How does it work? What creates these thought and emotion patterns? And then we talk about the neuroscience and the psychology around how to influence those systems that are creating those experiences. And then we have a mobile app that takes people through a 60-day program. It has 10 levels. So we go in and train for 4 hours, set all that up, and then we come back. Then we get them on the app. Mm-hmm. Then after about 4 or 5, 6 weeks on the app, we go back in and do another half day. We look back at what we did what they covered the first 5 weeks, and then we look forward to what they're going to do the last 4 or 5 weeks. And then they get back on the app and finish, and then we wrap up. So our program is in 10 weeks to be able to change those things we talked about earlier that we started the whole, performance mindset test with.
Okay, so let me get this straight on the app. I suspect, and I'm just guessing here, is that you'd have some tasks that you have to take care of. Then you go back over and a checklist of things that you've done, and then a test to see how well you're improving. Is that kind of the process?
Here's the way I would equate it or make the analogy to physical training.
Okay.
Our in-person training is really to tell you, here's how you need to train your mind. And some of the stuff we do in the class will train your mind, but then the app is like, here's your mental exercise program to do over the next 60 days to get those mental outcomes that you're looking for. Less stress, better focus, better sleep, all those things we talked about. So the app's going to give you 3 things to do every day. They're going to train your brain to influence those systems that we want to influence to get those outcomes.
What am I searching for in the App Store for the name of your app?
Vision Pursue.
Okay. The kind of people that are using the app, can you give me some silos, some industry sectors of people that are working with you and people that you think would really get the most out of it?
I think it's, we all have the same limbic system, the same mind that's creating these emotions and these emotional patterns. So it really is for anybody who wants to improve that. But to answer your question, we tend to go for high performers and high stress, high performance industries. One of the industries we get the most notoriety for is professional sports. So we work with some of those professional sports teams. It's certainly good for coaches and athletes. Obviously, a lot of stress in a high performance industry there. Also in the trading industry where I came from, everything around asset management, trading, exchanges, those sorts of things. Sales, we've done work in pharma sales and others. So, and even done some in oil and gas as well. So it really doesn't matter what industry. I think it's more about people who want to improve their game, want to improve their life experience, and are somewhat open-minded about doing something non-traditional to do it.
Got it. Are there any events coming up that you're going to be at so that you can, do a one-on-one with people or do a group, or is it all online? So
usually what we do on the corporate side, and not usually what we always do, is we do in-person training at the company, at the sports team, at the organization. So that's all closed. Obviously, they're paying us to take their people through that process. And then the app just supplements what we do, and me and my partners do in person.
Okay. How many people are on your team with this?
We have 4 people that are doing the training and work that I do, same sort of work that I do, 4 total.
Give me an idea on the specific results that you achieve with, say, in the corporate world.
Yeah, I wish I could show you some pie charts, but Michael, what always happens is very predictable when we go into an organization and we do that mindset test I talked about. How much of a typical day is stressful, annoying, monotonous? I need to escape from it. How much of it feels good? So when we come in, it's almost always around 80% of a typical day is stressful, annoying, monotonous, or I'm escaping. Somewhere from 80 to 85%, say 78 to 85%. And so that's our measurement going in. Then we ask people anecdotally, do you have trouble focusing, sleeping, resiliency, those sorts of things. So after the 60 days, we're going to ask those questions again. And what happens on average is about 100% increase in feeling good without escape activities. And what goes down is stress, monotony, annoyance, and the escape activities. And obviously in 60 days on a group of people, their life's not changing. It's the way their brain's experiencing it is changing. As you think about when we all get jammed up, when something goes wrong, you wake up at 4 in the morning, you go home, and then you're spinning it around and around in your head. And you can't just decide to quit thinking about things, but you can train the brain to quit thinking about things. And also the emotions that come with all those thought patterns. So those are the specific outcomes we look for. And with that, what tends to happen is, hey, I'm more engaged at work. I can focus on what I want to focus on. I'm not procrastinating as much. I'm getting along with people better because I'm not having all this negative energy based on my thought patterns. And I want to stress this isn't like positive thinking, just telling people to be positive about everything. It really is influencing these automatic systems that are creating these patterns, not a willful, I'm just going to decide to be positive sort of thing.
I get it. It's an entire process of retraining yourself to deal with the high stress that you're in all day in and day out. Got it.
Yeah, that's it. Like if we get criticized or something goes wrong at work, it isn't a matter of just saying get over it and move on. It's training the brain so the brain experiences that failure or that criticism in a different way in the first place. Makes you automatically more resilient, automatically more focused.
Is there anything I left out on the questions? Because I can't, I don't profess to know everything about what you're doing, but it seems like we've got a pretty comprehensive coverage on this segment here.
Yeah, I feel like you did. I did a good job. I can't think of anything I would add.
Okay. All right. Well, Russ, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I really appreciate you showing up. And then if you like, we can come back and start developing a library of different specifics that you think that you find. Because I know when I'm in doing things, I find things that I didn't think about. And I thought, what, let's make a segment about that. So if you have something of that nature, you're more than welcome to come back.
Michael, thanks for having me. I'd love to, and I think it'd be fun to do a segment where I could do 2 or 3 things that people could do on their own that influence those automatic systems that could help people, regardless whether you get Vision Pursuit training or the app. I'd love to do something like that.
My pleasure. We'll talk to you soon, Russ. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Bye.
You've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook and link in with us on our YouTube website, CEO Money.